Assalamu alaikum. As I have been introduced, my name is Hailru Abdullahi Maraya. This presentation is going to be jointly presented by myself and my brother, Reverend John Joseph Hayab. As you all know, we are from Nigeria, and Nigeria comprises 36 states, of which there is a very, very volatile one, and that is the state we come from. That is Kaduna State. You might have read a lot about what is currently happening in that state. Actually, it is being faced with a tremendous challenge. Humanity is currently being challenged in that state because what is currently happening, particularly in the southern part of the state, is incessant killings, destruction of houses, destruction of places of worship, and reprisal attacks and killings. Firstly, I would like to give a very brief profile of that state. In terms of population, Kaduna State is the third largest state in Nigeria. Based on the census that was conducted in the year 2006, it is currently inhabited by more than 7 million people. In terms of landmass, it is the fourth largest state in Nigeria because it has a land area of 46,053 square kilometers. Ethnic groups are numerous in that state because it is a state that is inhabited by close to 65 ethnic groups, more than 59, about 63. One can say it is inhabited by more than 60 ethnic groups. But I have mentioned earlier what the state is currently facing. My brother, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, is a Christian, and I'm a Muslim. But we treat each other with mutual dignity, respect, and honor. Because I don't consider the religion he practices, he doesn't consider the religion I practice. I consider him as a fellow human being. He considers me as a fellow human being. This clearly showcases that we treat one another on the basis of the fact that we belong to the same family. That is the esteemed family of Adam and Eve under God. Conversely, in that part of the state which I mentioned earlier, the story is the opposite. But we have adopted a measure, and that measure is part and parcel of what religious leaders are expected to do prior to the eruption of crisis, and afterwards. As you all know, faith is perennial and perhaps inevitable factor in the resolution of conflict. Consequently, we should not neglect a positive approach to engaging religious leaders in conflict resolution. This is premised on the fact that religion governs the social as well as personal behavior of man by providing guidelines, principles, and laws relating to his interaction with another person. This state I'm talking of, Kaduna State, between 1980 to date, has lost more than 20,000 people consequent upon incessant killings, sectarian violence, political violence, inter alia. We adopted this measure. We engaged faith leaders from the Muslim side and also from the Christian side, as the pictorial presentation that is subsequently going to be conducted by my brother will confirm. It is very unfortunate that the killers or the attackers in that part of the state are yet to be unveiled. The killed are known. The killers are yet to be known. So I think we cannot call that crisis or clashes. That is why I say incessant killings. But as religious leaders, we have to be proactive, and that was what we did. So far, we visited many of those communities. About a week ago, we were in a community, in a chiefdom, known as Kaninkon Chiefdom. Just about 26, 27 hours after an attack, because we realized that whenever an attack occurs and you visit the attacked people with a view to commiserating with them on the unfortunate happening, it will really go a long way in paving a way for you to have a discussion with them. And that was what we did. Also, religious leaders should always express a commitment to the value of peace through the articulation of human rights. Whenever we visit any community, that is what we do. We remind the faith leaders of their fundamental responsibility. And that responsibility is the articulation of fundamental human rights. If you are a Muslim, you have the right to life. If you are a Christian, you have the right to life. If you are practicing Judaism or Buddhism or any religion you are practicing, or even if you don't believe in the existence of the Almighty God, you have the right to life. Therefore, human beings generally must be permitted to live. So we always articulate such. Faith leaders should also be indefatigable advocates of treating all humans with good conduct without putting any identity difference into consideration. That will go a long way in solving the problem we are currently facing back home. And the articulation of this phenomenon is very vital because it has started yielding positive results, dignifying humanity without considering the identity of the person. The person is a Muslim or the person is a Christian, doesn't matter. Once a person is a human being, that person qualifies to be dignified. Religious leaders should be enjoining people to search for the knowledge of the religion of their choice and even that of others. We have found out that one of the factors that influence sectarian violence or sectarian clashes or crises is that the majority of the Muslims and also the majority of the Christians don't even know the rudiments of the religion they have chosen to be practicing. Because if a Christian is going to live their life on the basis of the teachings and tenets of Christianity, such a Christian will never kill anyone. In the same vein, if a Muslim is going to live their life in accordance to the teachings and tenets of Islam, such a Muslim will equally not kill any human being. But the incessant killings, sectarian violence, inter alia, are fundamentally caused by the ignoramuses of the followers of the two major religions in my country. They are very, very ignoramus as far as the religion of their choice is concerned. Fundamentally also, it is part and parcel of the roles of the religious leaders to be always making concerted effort to condemn any perpetration of any evil act against any person without considering the identity of the perpetrator or that of the victim. Brothers and sisters, what we do now is that we encourage faith leaders back home in Nigeria, in Kaduna State, that once an attack is perpetrated by the attackers, faith leaders generally should come out to condemn the attack without considering the identity of the attackers or the attacked. Because what we have really found out is that majorly whenever an attack hitherto occurred, faith leaders will consider the identity of the attackers and also the attacked. If the attackers were presumed to be Muslims, then Islamic scholars will not condemn the perpetration of that dastardly act. And if the attackers were found to be presumably Christians, then Christian religious leaders will not come out also to condemn the perpetration of the attack. But if we join hands together, that once an offense is committed, you are not expected to consider the identity of the offender or the identity of the offended. But an offense has been perpetrated, condemn it as a faith leader. That will go a long way in discouraging others from the perpetration of incessant killings, destruction of property, destruction of places of worship. So in a nutshell, this is just an introductory aspect of the presentation. And subsequently, I will invite my colleague, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, for the pictorial presentation. Before that, I would like to thank the Global Peace Foundation and all of you seated here for giving me this opportunity to deliver this introductory presentation. Madam Gail, I like words also to thank you for sitting beside me to give me cover. I'm tired, so I'm going to get seated because I wanted to come to Philippines by road, but very unfortunately I missed the bus. So I came by air. That is why I'm so tired. Had I come by the bus, definitely I wouldn't have got exhausted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.